kids. It's Mrs. Davis from Happy Place to Grow. I am so glad you are joining me again today for a fun story. Now, I love reading because there are some books that you read that give you knowledge, but others that spark your imagination. And lately I've been reading some books to you from one of my favorite authors and illustrators, Kevin Henkes. Lilly's Purple Plastic Purse, Chrysanthemum, and Owen. And those stories really were focused on self and dealing maybe with your confidence. In today's story that I'm going to share with you, Chester's Way, it is about self, but it's also a story that focuses on friendship. In today's story, Chester has a very best friend, Wilson, and they do everything together, and they're so much alike that others sometimes can't even tell the two apart. Do you have a friend like that? I mean, I know you have lots of friends, but do you have a very best friend that you share things with and you trust, and you know if you're in a jam, they're going to help you out? Yeah, we all have a lot of friends, and we know friends are very, very helpful and important. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think about your friends, but of your friends, I want you to think about the friend that is your very best friend. And on the count of 3, let's shout out our best friend's name. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Jeff. Yeah, my best friend is my husband. I trust him. We spend a lot of time together. We have fun together. We have laughs together. So, in today's story, these two friends get along really great. And then somebody moves in the neighborhood that wants to join the friend group. So I want you to watch and listen with me and see what happens when Lilly, you know, Lilly from Lilly's Purple Plastic Purse, moves in. This is going to be a really fun story about friendship. All right, get cozy. I'm going to put on my reading glasses and let's get started with Chester's Way. Chester had his own way of doing things. He says, "Hello, my name is Chester. I like croquet and peanut butter and making my bed." We're all unique, and Chester is too. He always cut his sandwiches diagonally. He always got out of bed on the same side, and he never left the house without double knotting his shoes. Chester always had the same thing for breakfast. Well, I can relate to that. I do the same. Toast with jam and peanut butter. He always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket just in case. "You definitely have a mind of your own," said Chester's mother. That's one way to put it, said Chester's father. Oh. Chester's best friend Wilson was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never swung at the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to, and they always used hand signals. A lot alike. Best friends are like that, don't you think? If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too. They rarely ate between meals. "Some days I can't tell those two apart," said Wilson's mother. "Me either," said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. They loved to go on picnics. Once, when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid that a watermelon plant would grow inside him, Chester swallowed one too. Well, that's true friendship, right? Don't worry, said Chester. Now, if you grow a watermelon plant, I'll grow one too. Look at the eyes. So cute. Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson because they always wanted the same things anyway. For Halloween, they always dressed as things that went together. Salt and pepper shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. They really are 2 peas in a pod. Cute costumes, right? Said Chester's mother. Looks like it, said Chester's father. Always together. In spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. Of course not. In fall, they raked leaves together. And in summer, they're in all seasons together, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Now that is definitely a best friend's job. Chester and Wilson. Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then, dun dun dun, Lilly moved into the neighborhood. Lilly had her own way of doing things. I am Lilly. I am the queen. I like everything. She is big and full-time and full of life. Don't you love it? She's got those boots on too, those red cute boots. Love them. She wore Band-Aids all over her arms and legs to look brave. She is definitely an interesting character. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she was saying, and she never left the house without one of her nifty disguises. Lilly wanted to wave at all the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who was in them. And she always carried a loaded squirt gun in the back of her pocket, just in case. She definitely has a mind of her own, said Chester. That's one way to put it, said Wilson. So they're kind of checking her out. They're thinking about her, evaluating her. Let's see what happens next. When Lilly asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said they were busy. When she called them up on the phone, they disguised their voices and said they weren't home. What do you think about that? If Lilly was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson crossed to the other and hid. Now that's not very nice. They're closing up. They're not allowing Lilly to be in their friendship group. She's something else, said Chester. Looks like it, said Wilson. What do you think's going to happen? Do you think they're eventually going to let Lilly be friends with them? Let's find out what happens next. One day, while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rode by, popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. I would think they were not good ones. Oh my, the two friends are in a situation, and then suddenly, dun dun dun, Chester and Wilson didn't know what to do. Just when they were about to give up, a fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened the older boys away. Are you who we think you are? Chester asked the cat. Of course, the cat replied. You know who it is, and her nifty disguise came in handy, didn't it? Just never know. Thank you, Lily, said Chester. You're welcome, Chester, said Lily. I love that she didn't hold a grudge against the boys. Thank you, Lily, said Wilson. You're welcome, Wilson, said Lily. I'm glad you were wearing a disguise, said Chester. Now they're glad for those weirdnesses of Lily. Those, I won't call them weirdnesses, uniquenesses. And I'm glad you had your squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. She's always prepared. Afterward, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a muscle mouse cup, said Lily. Uh-oh. They're finding they are going to have some things in common. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. If you get to know people, you might just find out more about them and find out they are like you. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she could have cookie cutters. That sounds cool. She made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. And then you might also discover that new friends have new ideas, and you can learn from those you get new takeaways. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson to sleep over. You have a night light? Said Chester. Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Likenesses and then some differences. Look at this breakfast treat. Chester and Wilson wanted toast and jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. You know that's what Chester always eats. Boring, said Lily. Try this instead. This is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. Does look kind of cool. After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said yes. So playing together, chatting on the telephone together. When she called them up on the phone, they had pleasant conversations. And if Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. I think they've got another best friend. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them to pop wheelies. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. I can't talk backwards, can you? I can double knot. I need a friend to teach me to talk backwards. Some days I can't tell those three apart, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester and Wilson and Lily. Lily, Wilson, and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed as the three blind mice. Now that's cute. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces extra long for double knotting. Now that's friendship. They love to go on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily about how they had each swallowed a watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us, she said. She's definitely fearless and brave. In spring, Chester and Wilson and Lily shared the same umbrella. In winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together, likenesses and differences in friendship for sure. In summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson and Lily. Lily, Wilson, and Chester, circle of friendship. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved into the neighborhood, and there he is. He looks kind of wild, and they're kind of stepping back with their nifty disguises, checking him out. What do you think? Do you think they'll let Victor join in their friendship group? Have they learned that opening up themselves to new friends can be a good thing? Or will they step back a little bit and watch Victor? Will Victor even want to join the friends? It'll be interesting to find out. If you could write the next page of this book, what would you do with the friendship group? Would you have them join with Victor? Would you have Victor want to join with them? If you could author the next page, what would you say? Oh, I just love how the friends in this story learned a lot from each other. You know, it's always great to have a best friend, to have your friendship group, but it's also nice if somebody moves in to offer friendship to them, to get to know them, because I loved in this story how the friends were alike, but they also found that when you have differences, your strengths, your weaknesses, the friend that you have can use their talents and abilities, how they taught each other. And when the guys were in a situation with the older boys, in steps Lily with her strengths. And, you know, it just worked out. Friendship is better if you open up your heart and allow people to come in, and don't judge people, because you never know how much you have that's alike, and then how the differences in others can become helps to you. You can, better together. So open up to new friends and new adventures with your friends. Oh, I love this story, and I can't wait until we read our next story together by Kevin Henkes. All right, kids, until our next time together, as always, keep looking out for new friendships and enjoy all of the friendships you have now. And as always, have a good one.